Good morning, Yorktown. Supervisor Tom Diana here. And as most of you know by this time, we have had an unprecedented heavy rain in this area over the last 24 hours. I believe that it is almost 7 inches of rain that we've had in 24 hours. I had a rain gauge at my own house that showed well over 6. I don't know how accurate it is, but it's a good indicator. I am joined here today for this press conference by a number of ranking officials, state, county, local. We have our chief of police, we have our R&R director, we have our engineer. Our highway superintendent is out on the road, Dave Pagnelli. He's at a critical incident down on Crampond Road where a culvert is compromised. We have with us today Congressman Mike Lawler, Assemblyman Matt Slater, and Assemblywoman Dana Levenberg, our county legislator Vedat Ghashi, Chief Robert Noble, our Parks and Recreation Superintendent Jim Martirano, our town engineer Dan Ciarcia, and our Refuse and Recycle Director Phil Marino. And our town clerk. What's your name? Diana Quast. Okay, just as I've said, we've experienced unprecedented heavy rain in the last 24 hours. 7 inches has come down, and the latter amount was within the past 3 hours going back. We have flooded roadways and washouts, and homes are flooded. We have several homes in the Lake Osceola, Jefferson Valley area that the meters had to be pulled on, the electric meters, so that there would be no electric current going into that home to possibly cause any type of damage, number one, and bodily injury. Last night, a dive team went into Hunter Brook after a car that went into the brook. Streams are overflowing, and culverts and bridges have been compromised. And as the water recedes, I'm sure we're going to find more. We have buckled roads, et cetera, out there. Through my hours out there this morning, riding around trying to figure out where all the areas are that are compromised, we found more, but we don't know where all of them are yet. There are roads washed out all over the place, and we advise everybody to use caution. The reason we are having this press conference is that I am declaring a state of emergency for the town of Yorktown. It got so bad to the point where Mohegan Fire Department lost a fire truck trying to respond to a scene, and it was compromised by the high water on one of the roadways. Our parks and recreations and programs, camps, have closed. Both of our school districts, Lakeland and Yorktown, have both closed and suspended operation during this state of emergency. One thing I can say to all you folks out there is that although you see water and you think you can go through it, you don't know what's underneath of it. If you can get by it, don't drown in it. Turn around and get out of there, because we don't know that the road is not compromised underneath. There are numerous washouts that are underneath the roadways. Like I said earlier, the roadways are buckling and or buckled, which means that there's a possible washout underneath them. And please keep the kids and animals away from running water, because that will cause, if the water's running and it's running fast enough, the kids go near it, they could be washed away. So please, use caution in every aspect. Turn around if you're in your car. Don't drown. That's the one thing I can tell you right now. Throughout the night, I've turned around in numerous locations that I wouldn't go through with the car. We've had washouts on numerous roads where boulders were thrown onto the road, causing a couple of cars to hit them, have flat tires, etc. I would like to, at this point, hand over our state of emergency declaration to our town clerk to file with the state. Now, that being said, thank you, Diana. That being said, there is progress and progression that has to go to declare a state of emergency, to get local, state, and federal funding through FEMA. and I'm going to have the state, county, and and federal government speak on that in a few moments. But what I want to do is give you a high-level idea of what's going on our roadways and in our infrastructure so that our town residents are assured that we are doing the best we can out here in this trying time. At this point, I'd like to have our chief, Robert Noble, come up and give us a idea of what's going on and some of the road closures and the incidents you have. Chief?
Thank you, Supervisor, and good morning, everyone out there. And by now, I would hope if you have not signed up for Nixle yet, that you did so this morning, because if you have signed up, our police department has been providing updates and alerts for the last, I would say, 18 to 24 hours based upon the storm that came through here. But I'm going to speak to some of the road closures that are out there. Highway Superintendent Dave Paganelli and his crew are working hard to try to correct some conditions and properly cone out others. My staff, the Yorktown Police Department, we've been out there with other first responders all throughout the storm, and my team is also on some roadways that do have some significant challenges. One of those being State Route 202 between Old Crampon Road and Lexington Avenue. Again, that's an area where if you're driving westbound, you see it's surrounded by wetlands. On the east side, the Hunter Brook. So those tend to run high in incidents like this, and when you get 7 inches of rain dumped on you in less than 24 hours, that's a significant challenge. So we're assisting Yorktown Auto Body. They have to pull about 6 abandoned vehicles from that corridor of Route 202, so we'll be out there for the next few hours. We will update when that roadway is open. Again, if you're traveling through town, you'll see in the Jefferson Valley area, near the Valley Market, the Lake Osceola area, that was flooded as well. And when the waters receded somewhat, you could see part of that roadway on East Main Street washed away in the area of the Valley Market Deli in between Wood Street and Perry Street. So I'm going to go across the list here right now that we have as of this time. We hope to have another update between 11 a.m. and 12 p.m. But challenges that we now face, Route 6N, again, between Perry and Wood Street, which is East Main Street in Jefferson Valley. Wood Street, up there on Mountain Road to the Putnam County line. East Main Street in Shrub Oak, between Pine Court and Barger Street. Again, that triangle over there, where Yorktown Funeral Home is located, for those of you who are familiar with the area, takes on a significant amount of water due to a stream and a brook that runs through there. If you're in a parking lot, well, there is a car in a parking lot with water up to almost the windows, where Bob BQ's and the cigar store is over there. So please, that area is a significant challenge, and our police department personnel have closed out part of that roadway. Old Crampon Road, again, between Lynette Court and Mill Pond Road. That is a culvert that has been significantly compromised, as the supervisor was telling you. Highway Superintendent Dave Paganelli and his crew are at that scene. We're concerned about that culvert collapsing. White Hill Road between Hunter Brook Road and William Court. Again, White Hill Road at the end of there where the Hunter Brook is. We always have flooding concerns over there when we do have significant rainstorms, and this was no different. Brookside Avenue, Greenwood Street, Mohegan Avenue between Route 6 and Sagamore Avenue, North Ridge Road on the other side of Route 6, on the north side of Route 6, Robin Road in the area of Wildwood Street, and Granite Springs Road between Hedwig Drive and Gregory Street. There are flooding challenges there. So, as the supervisor reminded you, yes, if you see ponding, you don't know what's under there. So the wise thing to do is to turn around if you see something like that. With the declaration of the state of emergency, the most frequent outreach that we receive, calls, social media, is, can I drive? The legal question is, you should stay off the roads. The realistic answer is that many people have left for work or are at work, and many of our roads, if you're driving around, they're just fine. But the challenges that we face are significant in the areas that do face these challenges due to Mother Nature. So we do need some attention brought to that matter, and the supervisor has declared this state of emergency. And with the conditions that some areas have faced in Yorktown, if you were to see them, you would understand why. If you go past Jefferson Valley, they just opened that golf course, and it's underwater. I mean, it's horrible what's happened in some sections of town. So I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Please, if you have questions, we'll share the information on our Facebook page and on Nixle. But patience and good judgment is the operation today. Yorktown's been through this in the past. It's no surprise. We've had a lot of things thrown our way, and we'll get through it. But again, patience, and let our people do their work so that you can go about your day safely as soon as we can make that happen. So I thank you very much. If any of you have any questions that I can answer, I'll be happy to do so. But stay safe out there. If you need us, you call us.
Thank you, Chief. I'd like to at this point call up our Refuse and Recycle Director to give you a brief overview of what's going on with trash and bulk pickup. Phil Marino.
Yes, good morning. Right now, bulk pickup, which is my department, we are out in the street servicing all your scheduled bulk pickups. Also, the refuge and recycling company is out there servicing locations. Now, any street that can be that a truck can go through, we will service. If we cannot get through the street, just leave it out there, and we will then return when it's safe and the road is open. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. I'd like to call up our town engineer, Dan Ciarcia, to give us an overview of what's going on with our sewage plants and their condition at this point. Dan?
Thanks, Tom. So we're still in the middle of this. There's a lag in terms of when the flows come to our wastewater treatment plant, which is really our biggest thing right now. We did push our plant to capacity and beyond on the overnight, but there's still places where people can help us today. And the problem we continue to experience really, to some extent, has to do with what's going on in people's homes. If you have water in your basement, I implore you, don't pump it into your sewer. Pump it outside, pump it into a storm drain. But our struggle really, in many ways, is related to people trying to get water off of their property. And in the future, if you have contractors come in to get water out of your basement or fix things, please don't let them connect to the sewer. It's completely illegal. And the reason is when we get events like this, what we end up with is flow at the plant beyond what we can handle. So the flows are receding, but at this point, it's still, we will see, the aftermath is still to be revealed as the waters recede. And likewise on the road stuff, you heard about the culvert on Old Crampond. We'll have to look at that. There'll be other parts of infrastructure that will require an inspection once the waters recede, because right now some things you can't really inspect because the waters are still very high. We also have a problem right here behind Town Hall where a sinkhole developed as a result of a culvert failing. So that's another project we're going to have to deal with. And as I say, we'll continue to spend the day as the waters recede to try and figure out what other problems we have that we don't know about yet. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dan. Also from our Parks and Recreations Department, I have Jim Mortorana Jr. He's going to give us an idea of what's going on with camps, pools, etc. Jim?
Thank you. So right now we have canceled all programming townwide with recreation. Our pools are shut down for the day and our camps are shut down for the day. We're going to take a look at all of our parks throughout the day and make sure that everything is operational for tomorrow. So we'll have updates by the end of the day to let you know if everything's going to be running. We anticipate camp to run tomorrow as well as pools, but specifically at Shrub Oak Pool, that facility may have to be closed because of the flooding in Shrub Oak specifically. So we're looking at a scenario where tomorrow we might have one pool open and the other one will be closed because of the shrubbing, because of the flooding at the north side of the town opposed to the south side of the town. So look out for that communication to come on our Facebook page as well as on our webpage, yourtownny.org. We'll have all the information for you readily available. So camp should be open tomorrow, and Junior Lake Pool will be open, but probably not Shrub Oak, but more information to follow. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. I'd like to call up my Deputy Supervisor, Ed Lachterman, and Councilwoman Mary Capocia to give you a few words at this point.
Hello, Yorktown. So I don't know much about the infrastructure. I rely on all our experts, but I do want to say that our workers have been out all night. Our highway, sewer, water, engineers department. So if you see them out there, thank them, and please just stay out of their way so they can do the work they need to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Yeah, driving around this morning with the supervisor at 5 a.m. trying to look at some of the issues. One of the big things that we noticed, and really want to give a shout out to our fire and police departments. They've been so on point. They've been bailing people out of cars. They've been taking care of structure issues. Our Mohegan Fire Department also handles Cortland. They had a house actually get wiped off the street from the flooding. So these guys have been doing a tremendous job. I know the guys on Midnight from the police department were helping to clear roads before a highway could get there. So just some unbelievable work from our first responders. And we thank you. We ask everyone to be safe and please, pay attention to those roads. As the supervisor said, you never know what's underneath, and you never know how deep that water is if it's a dip in the road. So please be careful.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Mary. Okay, what I'm going to do now is there's a process which has to be followed for a declaration, and I'm going to start from our county, move to our state, and then we're going to go to the federal end that will be able to help us possibly with disaster correction. So if I can call up at this point Vedat Ghazi, our county legislator, and beside him, Dana's with the state, but I'm going to call up our county legislator, Vedat Ghazi.
Thank you, Supervisor. Obviously, we've had some really difficult times here. The weather has created a difficult time for a lot of families and a really difficult time for our infrastructure. I want to take the opportunity to thank Chief Bob Noble, our police, our fire, all the town, the engineer, the refuse, and the parks, everybody working together. And I'm proud to be here as chairman of the Board of Legislators and on behalf of the county to say that in an all-hands-on-deck situation, we are happy to be a partner and happy to give whatever assistance we can. Obviously, we are joined here by Congressman Lawler, Assemblywoman Dana Levenberg, and Assemblyman Matt Slater. So throughout the state and the federal, it's as difficult as these times are for so many of our community. It's a wonderful opportunity to see us all coming together and working for the benefit of our entire community. So I say again, whatever assistance we can give from the county, whatever necessary steps will be required of us, we will give it to our fullest extent as soon as possible. But I thank, again, the others, and I didn't mention Dave Paganelli, who's running around working too hard to be able to attend the press event. But thank you all, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today.
Thank you, Vedat. I'd like to, at this point, call up Assemblyman Matt Slater and Assemblywoman Dana Levenberg to give you the next level that we have to climb before we can get through the state to get to federal. So if you folks could come on up.
Okay. Thank you so much, Supervisor Diana, and hello and good morning, Yorktown. I know that Assemblyman Slater and I have both been in your position before, Supervisor, and so we know that going through these disaster declarations, the first step is really to do an assessment and figure out exactly what your assets that you lost are, what kind of losses that you're really looking at, so that you know what kind of assistance that you're going to need from the county, from the state, and from the federal government. And I did have an opportunity this morning to talk with the state to make sure that, in fact, that process has already begun. Again, you already started the first process by identifying, by Chief Noble identifying the roads that have been impacted, the fire truck that has been impacted, and you're going to continue to find other areas that are going to need, an infusion of funds to make sure that you're able to actually fix them and restore them, and not just restore them, but hopefully improve them so that the next big flood we're not going to see. Obviously, first priority today is to make sure that everybody is safe, and we're so grateful again to all of the local first responders and the highway department for doing all that they could to make sure that people were safe throughout the night, which was obviously the worst of it. Right now we're dealing with the aftermath, which is continuing to be the worst of it, but as the waters die down, hopefully we'll be able to see just what the impact really has been and what we need to do here in Yorktown to make sure that we have an improved infrastructure and improved systems, so that next time around, and we know with climate change we're going to be seeing more and more of these floods from just a big rain event. No hurricane, no tornado, just a big rain event. So again, I know we, seen what's happening across the river at West Point. We know that they got as much rain overnight as they usually get in the entire summer. So we know that that's at least what's happened here in Yorktown as well. We want to make sure that everybody first is safe. As we've heard, what you need to do is stay away from those puddles, stay away from any place that you see that doesn't look safe, so we can make sure our children are safe and our families are safe, and we can all sleep well at night. So again, thank you again to all the first responders. We're going to be there, make sure that the county does their job to oversee whatever the town has said are their assets that need improvement and fixing, and then the state will come in. And then at that point, based on what the actual costs are and the needs are, the federal government can come in. I have had an opportunity to speak with Senator Gillibrand and Senator Schumer's office as well, and I know that we have Congressman Lawler here to continue the process up to FEMA if that's what's needed. And I'm sure that all the resources that we can all bring together to bear from the state and the federal government are going to help make sure that Yorktown comes out of this event on the better side. So thank you, and I'll turn it over to Assemblyman Slater.
Well, thank you very much. It's always great to be back here in my hometown in Town Hall. I want to thank Supervisor Diana. He and I have been on the phone since dawn, going over the critical infrastructure list and doing our assessment of the town. Same with our Highway Superintendent Paganelli. And as has been said before, just the Chief Noble and all of our first responders, just a terrific job from the top down. And I think that's the important thing for the residents of Yorktown, to make sure that they recognize and understand. As the Chief said, we've been through this before. I've sat in this town hall with him before for similar events, along with members of the town board. And so you do have an experienced team and experienced partners who are hard at work for all of you. And so to the entire workforce, thank you. To all of our first responders, thank you. I have been in touch with the governor's office along with my partner in government, Dana Levenberg, who represents the west side of Yorktown, as well as the necessary state agencies to make sure that we're all communicating and working together and collaborating as we should on behalf of the residents of Yorktown. I know that we've got trouble spots at Lake Osceola. I've been in touch with the residents up there. I know that our highway superintendent is down on Old Crampon Road. And so again, just give us the time and our team the time to do the necessary adjustments and assessments, and just know that you've got a great collaborative effort on every level of government. And I also want to thank Congressman Lawler for coming out here to offer his assistance as well for the residents of Yorktown. So thank you very much. Supervisor Diana, great job. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt. I want to bring up, last but certainly not least, Congressman Mike Lawler, who's going to give you a high-level description of the next phase that we have to go through to remedy some of these situations. Congressman?
Thank you, Supervisor, and thank you to the town board. and all of our municipal department heads and employees who have worked tirelessly over the last 24 hours to address the challenges that we're facing, but especially our first responders who sprang into action here in Yorktown and across the Hudson Valley because we had severe flooding and a lot of damage in municipalities all across Orange County, Rockland, Westchester, Putnam, and our first responders did a phenomenal job rescuing dozens of people that were trapped in cars, that were trapped in homes, and got them out. We had one fatality, unfortunately, in Orange County, and a number of people missing. So, everybody continues to work to make sure that first and foremost the health and safety and well-being of our residents is paramount. But now as the storms have receded and the water is starting to recede, we see the damage and the toll that these storms took on our municipalities, especially with respect to our culverts, our roads, our sewers, and even in Town of Kent Town Hall. So there is significant damage. The first step, obviously, the counties, the municipalities declaring states of emergency. The governor yesterday declared a state of emergency for Orange County and Ontario County. I'm calling on the governor to declare a state of emergency for Rockland, Westchester, and Putnam counties as well, so that all of our municipalities can begin that process, and the state can work with us and the federal government to make sure that the resources are available from FEMA, and to make sure that all of these, the damage that was done can be addressed expeditiously, and that the funding and resources are there to help our municipalities. There were a lot of roads that were washed away, including Route 6, and parts of the Palisades Parkway had significant damage, Route 202. So we want to make sure that we are able to respond as expeditiously as possible and that our municipalities and the state have the resources they need to fix the damage that has been done. So we will be working throughout the day with the governor's office, with our county executives in the region, as well as all of our municipal officials and my partners in state government, to really make sure that the resources are there and that everything is done expeditiously to provide help. But I look forward to going out and touring across the 17th District today and meeting with all of our municipal officials, first responders, and folks in the community who have been impacted by yesterday's storm. So, Supervisor Diana, thank you for your leadership and thank you for organizing this today.
Thank you, Congressman. I definitely appreciate everyone that has come together today, especially who has worked through the night with our police, fire, ambulance folks that are out there trying to make it as safe can be for all of our residents. But this is a team effort, ladies and gentlemen. There's a team effort with our folks here that work within the town, our county, our state, and our federal level. We have not seen the likes of these storms or a storm like this in quite some time, where in a short period of time we have gotten this much rain, which caused the destruction that it has caused. At this point, I think that what we need to do is roll up our sleeves, and we got to get back to work and get things rectified. I want to thank our congressmen, our assemblymen and women, and our county executive. County legislator. I just gave you promotion for future. And everyone that stands here with me today, because without this, we don't have the process to get the funding we need to fix what we need to fix. And these are the steps and the process that we have to go through to make sure that it's done correctly. And I want to thank you all, especially our police department, our fire department, our ambulance corps. They're out there. Mohegan lost a fire truck last night. I think it was a $1 million fire truck. So they were trying to respond to something, went through a large amount of water, and whatever damage is done, I'm not sure, but it's not running. And that's not a good thing for a fire truck. But, folks, thank you so much for being here. I know that we're going to be recording, correct, Diana, a lot of the incidents that are out there so that we can present this further. Would you like to say a few words? Come on up.
Well, first and foremost, thank you to everyone that's out there working hard for the town of Yorktown, especially our emergency services, our fire department, our EMS, our ambulance corps. The town clerk's office stands ready to help anybody that needs assistance. You can contact my office at 914-962-8152 is my direct line. We'll be out taking pictures throughout the town so we can document all the issues that we're having to make sure that the town can get funded, as much funding as possible from the state and federal government. And thank you for all that you do.
Thank you. And certainly we cannot thank enough our highway superintendent and his crew for being out there and doing what they've done throughout the night. Unfortunately, Dave was going to be here, Dave Pagnelli, but he's actually on a culvert that is compromised, that we can't let people drive on, or the roadway is, of course, flooded, and it has compromised the culvert/bridge. So at this point, I want to open this up to any questions that anyone may have with regard to this storm and the response that we have in place at this time. Do we have anybody? I guess we answered most of the questions then. All right. Well, Yorktown, yeah, I think he might. Yorktown, please, if you need us, we are here. All of our departments are on the website. You can contact my office at 914-962-5722, extension 201, or any of our other departments if you need assistance. Please, one of the little phrases that I was given is turn around, don't drown. If you see standing water, stay out of it if you can. It's very important. Like I say, you don't know what's under that water, and it may be too deep. One of our police officers was up to his knees pushing a car out of the water at East Main Street. It was, I got there, but I was too late to give him a hand.
He was our strongest swimmer.
He was. That's correct. And we've put the tallest guys out there today. So it's hopefully going to work out. We're going to get everything that we can get to rectify the situations that we have out there at this point. So in the meantime, we'll be giving you updates as things progress. And please, if you need us, please call us. We are here for you. We are here for you all the time. Thank you so much. Have a good day, Yorktown.